Hello and welcome back to my channel. Sorry, no One Piece what of today, still working on it. The finale is coming very soon. I'm in like about the 800 chapters in the manga, so yeah, it's coming to an end soon. But yeah, the next two parts will probably be the end, so look out for that. In the meantime, enjoy this wonderful series where the chakra is just like gonna overtake everything. Quirks basically are becoming obsolete. It's just all about the chakra and jutsus now. So yeah, let's get into that. I will explain everything that happens. You can hear my soothing voice. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification button to update all my future videos. And without any further ado, let's begin with the recap. The last part began with Izuku coming out to perform the cavalry battle, where he showed his ability to create clones, and he fought alone. Well, technically, he also showed more elements he could use, and was eventually left alone and kept his points. But right before the right before the one-on-one began, Izuku told Oh no, I was already. Right before the cavalry did actually begin with, Izuku told Midnight something about chakra and made her awaken it for a while, which caught everyone's attention and was caught on camera. So yeah, moving on to one-on-ones. Izuku fights Shinso, and though he beats him quite easily, he also invites him to train after the festival. Izuku, when he fought Todoroki, had him enjoy the fight before then awakening his chakra and allowing him to pull off some crazy move before he beat him, and people got really interested. But when given the mic to talk about it, he just said that everyone will know soon anyway. And when Kaminari lost, back when he lost, he was also told by Izuku that they were going to have a training camp. So he and Kaminari went to tell the entire class, and they agreed to come. Bakugo is iffy about it, but says yes after he loses to Izuku. And when they all go back home, they soon come back and meet Izuku, who unlocks their chakra. And after they come back to school, Izuku was called by Nezu to talk about the spreading of this chakra and teaching it to the entire school. He agrees, and as he comes back, he's told about the Forest Lodge in class. But in the weeks that followed, everyone basically just had to focus on training their chakra, no studying. They had to really adapt. They were taught how to just like walk on water and stuff like that. And this is when the dorm system will be established, because this is the first time that something like this has ever happened. So they want to contain it so no villains can hurt the kids. And yeah. This would also help 1A, 1B when they fight their teachers, as they have to unlock a certain skill to kind of pass to begin with anyway. So after unlocking those skills, they beat their teachers quite effortlessly. And how Hakure, who was, for example, invisible, was not visible and could control light. 1B also got a sort of awakening and are soon sent to the Forest Lodge because they all passed anyway. And yeah, everyone just passed. We're going to begin this part with Izuku sitting in front of both his father and mother's graves as he continues with his tradition of telling them about his week and what he had done, as All Might watched over him. Hisashi, Inka, you raised one hell of a good man, he thought. After he is done, Izuku would then stand as he turns and says, "Alright, time for the camp." All Might would then nod and start heading back to his car, while he would then ask if everything was okay, if he had everything, in his suitcase. And Izuku would say, "Yeah, no problems. We were allowed to go to the mall 2 days before, but what about the chakra training?" All Might would then ruffle his hair, saying not to worry about it, as they will make do with his instructions that he left behind, and Izuku trusts him, so he says okay. He is driven back to UA, where he finds everyone at the school bus is about to leave, and Hakure would then say, "Oh, Midoriya," as she waves at Izuku and then walks over, and the bus driver then comes and takes his suitcase. Izuku would then thank him, and when Tetsu runs to him, he would then say, "Hey, when can we learn that substitution thing?" "Oh yeah, that's gonna be our gift, right?" said Mineta. "Isn't the fact that you can already do this much enough?" Izuku would say. They all gain a guilty look, but then Izuku would smile, saying he was just joking around. "We'll have classes about it at camp." "Good, cause that kind of skill would be perfect for rescues." "Wait, can you substitute other people?" asked Tetsu. "No, fortunately, it's only possible for me. It's too high level. At least for you, for now." Ida would then call for 1A to go. Meanwhile, Kendo does the same for her class, and they would all get on the buses, and they get on their way. During the ride, they talk about how Japan has been changing lately due to the introduction of chakra and so on, and they soon come to a stop after a 1-hour ride and are led out by near a cliff, I guess. As they come out to stretch, they see a red car nearby and see 1B pass by them. That's what they're doing, thought Izuku. They come closer and closer to the edge of the cliff when the Wawa Pussycats then walk out of the red car, and along with them comes Koda. "We're the Wawa Pussycats," the two would say as they pose, and the students recognize them as they'd be surprised they were really here. Manly would then go to the fence as she points to their home at the foot of a nearby mountain. Then why do we stop here?" asked Sero. However, they start to kind of understand something, what's going on. Meanwhile, Mineta would have just finished peeing, and he runs back asking, "So, what's going on?" They are then thrown into the forest at that moment, as the ground beneath them would do so, and they scream. But with the clap of his hands, Mineta would then pop off his purple balls as they latch onto everyone and slowly levitate them down. Wow, man, that's actually kind of cool, said Kaminari. As Mineta would then yell to not sound so surprised, and as they land, the balls then get off of them and come to surround Mineta, who says, I don't know about you guys, but this is kind of fun. Instantly, they all clap their hands together and start gathering their chakra, and they agree when a horde of beasts then attacks, and with a punch, Kaminari releases a lightning dragon as everyone proceeds to charge. Above, Mandalay could not believe what she was seeing, and Pixie couldn't either. All of them just from this chakra thing? Amazing, she said. Soon, we'll be trained as well. Nezu ordered to have your channels open today by Midoriya, said Aizawa. Cool, because at my level, I don't think I can keep up with these little brats, said Pixie Bob. Using their new abilities, the class would blow through all the beasts with ease, and they eventually arrive about like a few minutes early. They actually have a lot of fun. And they do get fatigued, of course, because, well, they're still not used to it yet. Izuku had to pick up more slack for them, but they make it in the camp. Actually, no, let's just say an hour. Yeah, I'm not going to make it too amazing. They meet their teachers waiting for them, and while they walk in tired, they aren't dragging themselves along. And Pixie would say, pretty good. Amazing, actually. Koda, it was so cool when you summoned the giant eagle, Sakakure. I can summon other ones, but it's still hard to control, he'd say. Even as shy as he is, he's incredibly powerful. It makes you wonder how much the generations will advance later, thought Mandalay. Oh, if I may ask, who's the boy? Izuku said as he points to Koda, and Mandalay would then say that he is her nephew. Izuku would then walk up to and hold his hand out to say hello. However, instead of saying anything, he would then turn and leave, as Izuku would then sense resentment and anger being aimed towards something, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Koda! Sorry about his rudeness, said Mandalay. Izuku says it's fine, and Aizawa would then tell everyone to get their stuff and get settled in. And with a nod, they go and get their luggage and go in. They learn the layouts of the place, and by the time night has fallen, they're just eating. Quickly, they then go to the onsen after, and we find the boys just, laying back, taking in the heat and steam much like everyone else, and the girls on the other side. But we would then notice Mineta fidgeting by the wall, separating them from the girls, and Izuku would say, don't even think about it, Hagakure will blind you. How did you know? Asked Mineta, as everyone then literally says that it's on his face, but Mineta will be Mineta and proceeded to climb up as he drools, but as he reaches the top, Koda would then push him down. Creepy, he said. With the clap, Mineta would then reach the ground as he catches himself with a purple ball, and everyone chuckles saying Koda did good. With a scoff, he would then look back to see the girls, but he would then be stunted and start to fall because, well, they're naked. Ironically, Mineta would be the one to save him even though he didn't like the little brat, and Izuku would then offer to take him to Mandalay. After he did, he's then told about Koda, and he can understand why he's mad, but when he heard that he's directing a bit of anger towards his father, Biju, because his father can save his parents that died and he was the strongest, he wasn't around, Izuku would then say, yeah, that's completely unreasonable. I know, it's just, I don't know how to make him give up on it. Turning to leave, Izuku would then say that while he doesn't like that he lost his parents, my father couldn't be everywhere. He knows, I think he was just looking for someone to blame. We then fade to black and cut to the next day, but one people would then be walking through the forest, and they're led by Blacking until they come to C1A, still doing the same thing, but this time it all includes chakra. This would proportionally make it far harder for everyone. This isn't even surprising anymore, honestly, but we have a chance to catch up, said Monoma. Yeah, we have chakra too, so no more pulling ahead, said Shota. But they do not dare compare themselves to Izuku, who will be working on condensing his elements before then firing them into the sky. Just the mere shockwave of these attacks swept through the entire land, like not just them, the entire forest shook. The world is just never fair, is it, thought Monoma. Soon one would then come to stop with their training and let 1B take their turn, pushing their limits, and as night falls, they are told to make their own meals. Shoji would walk around the dining table holding many plates of food, and he'd be passing them out, as Izuku would then receive his, and he thanks him as he starts to dig in. As he does, however, he would then catch a glimpse of Koda walking off into the forest, and feeling as though he has something to do about it, he would then follow him with the bento and find him atop a nearby mountain as he sat by the cliff just overlooking the area. Hey there. Koda would then turn to see him and ask what he's doing here. This is my secret base, leave. Putting down the bento, Izuku would then put his hands to his hoodie pockets and said, just wanted to give you dinner. I don't want it. You going around and flaunting your quirks and this chakra stuff. It's all gross. Go away. His stomach would then grumble, however, as Izuku would then say, you know, I have no sympathy for you. You're not the only one who lost somebody, Koda. You can feel free to bitch about it, but this is getting old. Koda gets mad saying not to compare his family to his. My parents were the strongest of the most famous heroes. You probably had the most perfect life any kid could ever want. I was bullied since the age of 4. These words surprised Koda, as Izuku would then say that he got his quirk when he got beaten up almost every day and he wanted to literally just give up. The fact that everyone knew who my dad was only made it worse, and then one day, my mom died, fell right in front of me. It was a tumor, we didn't see it fast enough. Dad, well, he's a whole different ballpark. Walking up to Koda, he would then say, you're allowed to mourn, but there comes a day when people have to wake up. I don't care if you're a kid. At this point, Koda would then start to cry, with Izuku then turning as he told him to just eat the food already. You really think your parents would want you starving yourself? He then body flickered away as Koda would then clench his fist in anger. And after that day, Izuku did actually keep coming and giving him meals, but Koda did not eat any. He just didn't complain though. So Izuku just stuck true to his morals. He knew that Koda had to get over his trauma, or he would never get as far as he did when he had to deal with all that trauma. So he's trying to help him, but he just doesn't know how to do it. But like, he also doesn't like him, that he's a little whiny, you know what I'm trying to say. So as the 4th day came and night fell, the test of courage then announced as Izuku would then be walking with the forest with Kirishima. So what do you do aside from training as Kirishima? A lot of things, like yeah, I can't think of anything. After everything that's happened, I did nothing but train. I don't think I've ever done anything normal in the past years. Well, don't worry, we'll find something for you. Well, we can check working out off the list. What about art? I do make statues with magnet release, said Izuku, as Kirkman then says that's a good start, and Izuku then smiles, thanking him for trying to make him feel better. After everything you've done, this is the bare minimum, my friend. In this moment, however, is when Kirishima's chakra would for the first time warn him, as he would then come in front of Izuku and hold his arms out, and he goes unbreakable as he's knocked back by a sharp light tendril. Izuku managed to keep him standing as they skid back, and before them lands a high end, and it will then thrust his arms into the ground before spikes then come up from behind them. As they strike, however, Izuku grabs Kirishima and they both turn to logs that will be skewered, and from behind the high end comes a Biju bomb that blows it to pieces. We then see the two standing on a tree branch as they come to land, and with a nod to each other, they start running opposite ways, and they already know what they must do. From the starting point of the contest, we saw the heroes as they hear rumbling when the air is then filled by flying high ends. It's one of those things, said Mandalay. Inside the forest, everyone is attacked by these creatures, but Izuku makes clones to go help out, while some people try to fend for themselves. And Izuku then takes this chance to fight Koda and finds him almost attacked by a flying high end. Leave him alone, idiot, as he increases speed and he comes to crash into it with a kick to its face, and it is blown through the side of the mountain. He then lands and looks to Koda, asking if he was okay, and he said yes, but he was shaking. The normal Izuku sent flying and then came back as it screams and releases a sonic wave that makes Koda buckle to the floor while holding his ears in pain. And as he plants his feet, Izuku will then open up his mouth and release another Biju bomb that destroys the creature completely, bringing his screams to an end. With this, Koda will then let go and sigh with relief, just as he's then grabbed by Izuku, who begins to fly while he summons his staff, and Koda will then see the flying Nomus coming at them. Hold on tight, this is gonna get bumpy, said Izuku, as he swipes horizontally, setting out spikes that stab through all their brains, easily killing them before he then made a hand seal, and the skewers will then fall to the ground as they dig into them and surround the entire forest. Sealing. As some students are about to be attacked, the creatures will then come to be restrained by black tendrils of sorts, and a flying one then falls right before Momo and her partner as it struggles in pain, trying to get free but to no avail. What happened? Midoriya happened, said Momo. A clone of Izuku then runs out from behind as they turn and it gestures to follow him, and they would. And soon, everyone that was spread out comes back to camp and reconvene with the wild pussycats, right as Izuku would then land while holding Koda. Is everyone present? Look for your friend and classmate, Izuku screams. They proceed to do so while Izuku lets down Koda as Melly then runs up and hugs him. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. He saved me. Izuku meanwhile then looks around and then realizes, Ragdoll, where is she? As he asks this tiger, the Mandalay, Tiger, and Pixie do not know, and they realize that she's gone, and this is the worst thought, and the worst thing to think about. Then this was all for her, said Pixie? No, this felt more like an experiment, like the enemy was trying to size us up. There was no plan, those bastards. Fine, that's how you want to play, said Izuku. He starts doing hand signs, catching everyone's attention, while then clapping his hands together, and a screech is then heard as a flying Nomu then starts to fly back to wherever it came from. Don't worry, it's more, said Izuku. Now I'll know where it came from. Call the police or something. I'll dial up All Might on the way, said Izuku, as he then leaps into the air, and Aizawa then asks where he's going, what he's doing, and Izuku says he's gonna follow the Nomu. Midori, you're still a student who just lost his teacher. With these words, he then flies forward, saying he'll be fine, and just to call the police. As he left, quickly Aizawa pulled out a phone and called for Tsukayoshi, and he alerted him as the kids start to panic, asking if Ragdoll was really taken, and they feel kind of scared. And Baku would then yell, that idiot just went off on his own? Why? Language. But yes, she was taken. Everything will be fine. He's strong, said Mandalay. 2 hours then pass, and we find Izuku tailing behind the Nomu monstrosity and found himself at Jakku, the city of Jakku, but right as they flew over it, the creature would just detonate, catching Izuku off guard. Smarter than I thought. But this is where you are, huh? Thought the hero. As night passes, the next day, 1A and 1B are already heading back as their bus would be surrounded by cars full of heroes. Annoying little ruining everything, thought Bakugo, as he'd be seething with anger and he had his arms crossed. Guys, how many times do you think this is gonna happen? Asked Koda. Hopefully never again, said Izuku. Let's stay positive. Whatever, next time I'm fighting Deku, said Bakugo. It's Izuku. It's really not that hard. You're acting like it wouldn't be weird if I called you by your normal name. Even I'll find it weird, said Bakugo. Izuku then takes a moment and thinks about it as he sighs, saying, yeah, you're not wrong. This makes everyone chuckle as Hugh then says the two can never have a normal conversation, and they say why would they want to. The bus ride then continues, and UA 1A is brought back to UA, and while everyone stays, Izuku is taken on a ride with Nezu, my bad, I'm really mixing up these names with the Z's in them, and they be driven by agents of the Hero Association, and beside them will be similar cars surrounding them, and many agents, other agents looking out for them, and the driver would then say, because of the process of chakra has been doing so well, Sir Yamato thought it'd be best if we spread it. How many schools are we visiting then? Asked Izuku. We will head to Shiketsu, Seiyai, and then Seijin. We're considering Masagaki Primary School. This process has been improved on children? Asked Nezu. The parents are only doing it if Midoriya does it, and only if you have agreed to it, but would you be fine with this? He asked this to Izuku, then not saying he'll be fine, but the kids will not be pushed to harsh training. At most, they'll be mediated, and they'll meditate. With the nod, the driver then tells everyone to increase speed through his comms, and as night falls, they meet Yamato at Shiketsu, and Izuku will be in front of lined up kids, and he will then awaken their chakra, and after they are done, the school will then just, get back to their normal schedule, and also start training with their chakra. Meanwhile, Izuku goes to Seijin, and AI, and Izuku returns home at 9 p.m. He would enter the common area exhausted since the process of opening chakra channels is not an easy task, especially for multiple people, but waiting for him would be his entire class as they just be gathered up in the common area, just talking in their normal clothes, and Sir would then say, whoa, Midoriya, are you okay? Totally fine. Yeah, that's a lie. I'm tired to the bone. He comes and sits down on the couch saying, I met this one kid who wouldn't stop screaming at Shiketsu. I felt like my ears were gonna detonate. Starting to laugh, however, Uraka would just apologize a little bit because he says that's just funny. It just is. And being serious, he also bowed and hit his head to the ground. It was bizarre. At this point, they all burst into laughter as Izuku would then groan and saying, okay, you think it's funny, huh? Anything involving you in pain brings me happiness, yells Bakugo. Yeah, of course you're happy. So, what are we doing tonight? We have no school tomorrow, right? We could just train our butts off, yells Kirishima. I propose a studying session, Ida says. Or we could just watch a movie, Ojiro says. They end up talking about the options until they fall asleep, passed out, and they end up watching a horror movie until they just stayed in the common area, by the way. They all just stay in the common area. And as Aizawa walks in the next day with a grin, he would then bring out and scream into a big microphone. Wakey, wakey! Oh, what the hell, yells Bakugo as he jumps out from the couch and lands on Izuku's stomach, making him punch Bakugo. And as he wakes up, the two would then start to fight, and this makes everyone wake up, and they sluggishly then ask Aizawa why he was doing that. You have ninja training, boys and girls. Time to learn how to substitute. The teachers will also take the liberty to start training, meaning more transfers. Alright, fine, said Izuku. Come on, guys. Yeah, totally. We're so ready. However, they would then all fall back exhausted as Aizawa then sighs into the microphone, making a screech that pierces their ears. Sorry about that, said Aizawa. So, the students would soon get up and get ready for training, learning substitution jutsu, and it's actually not that hard for them to do, but they had to learn that it only worked in certain situations. If an enemy holds ill intent towards you or maybe bloodlust behind their attacks, the substitution will work the most and almost automatically, but if it has no ill intent, then it won't work. So, yeah. After the weekend passes, everyone then gets ready to come back to class, and by this point, the other classes have just learned how to walk on different surfaces, and the teachers have all gotten their injections and are being taught how to harness chakra. And this includes Nezu, who, as he steps up to give a speech, looks much more different to all the students. Yes, I'm all aware of my change, guys. It seems chakra affects animals much more differently. Nezu was not much bigger, even bigger than All Might, and he had put on a lot of muscle, which Izuku was still fascinated by. Now, you may notice that there are no teachers beside me. This is because they're all in training. So, good for you. Today, you guys actually get to do as you wish, and for the rest of the week. This will leave everyone cheering as they be happy, but Nezu says that they do have to keep in mind that license exams are coming up for the hero courses, and you say, feel free to train or laze around, but I suggest training, alright? Unfortunately, teachers do need to get stronger, so we will be absent for a week. Do not worry, in between, you can come in and ask for advice and check the school website. You can also feel free to ask Izuku. Yes, sir. They all, of course, give a yes, as Nezu will then say, well, yeah, do as you please, but within school regulations, of course. With this, everyone starts to spread out, as one day will then be talking about what they do when Shizu then approaches Izuku. Hey, can I get your help with something? Sure, we're actually going to go to the TDL. Right, guys. He will then turn to everyone as they freeze. The company will then turn saying, yeah, totally. Come on, this is good. If you guys get your licenses, you'll be able to use your quirks however you want. Well, within certain limits, but however you want. And the ninja program lets you because, well, they just do. It depends on how much gear track control you have, though, said Izuku. Seriously? I mean, I was gonna train regardless, but let's begin now, said Tokoyami. I have been working on something. Oh, you guys think what I'm thinking of? Super moves. Let's work on those, said Kirishima. They all then give a resounding yes, as Izuku would then tell Shinso to come with them, and they all run into their gym uniforms and head over, but as they arrive, they meet with 1B right at the door. Oh, 1A, were you planning on training today, said Monoma. Well, no need for a fight. This place is pretty big, Monoma. Stop being a drama queen, said Izuku, as he heads in and Kenda would then agree, and the two groups would just head in. But since Cementos isn't here, he's training, Izuku would then sub in as he would begin to make hand signs until he slaps his hands to the ground. He slaps his hands to the ground, and for a moment, his eyes would gleam purple, and a massive platform, and many massive platforms of cement slab would begin to rise, leaving everyone surprised. You can copy quirks, yells Bakugo. That's my thing, yells Monoma. Izuku then takes his hand out, saying, yeah, I can. Everyone is left quiet before Tetsu then says, maybe in advance, just tell us. Jesus, you're a monster. Thank you, said Izuku. After getting over all of this, although barely, they then start to use their massively different quirks for super moves, while Shinso showed Izuku he now had the ability to transfer himself into someone else's body. He showed this by possessing Izuku's clone, leaving the boy surprised. The Yamanaka, now I'm sure of it, there are dormant genes all around, thought Izuku. The clone then speaks to Izuku as Shinso, and he would then ask what he thought, and Izuku then said that it's an ingenious ability to have, but have you ever thought of spreading your consciousness to different bodies all at once? Shinso would then stay wide-eyed before then saying, that is completely possible. Can I practice? Making a hand sign, Izuku would then make a second clone saying that he can go right ahead, and he says, I'm gonna go work on my own training too. With the nod, Shinso would then return to his body, while Izuku then goes off, and the kid starts to grin, thinking this was crazy, but also just fun. Izuku meanwhile takes a moment and sits down cross-legged as he concentrates all the chocolate to his eyes. However, as he does, he starts to be flashed with memories that he did not like, including the thought of Ragdoll, who has still not been found yet. No, it'll be fine. You can't do this again. Ringing starts to fill his head, however, as we have a flashback to a memory. Izuku will be in tears as he tries to shake awake his father, with him bleeding at the mouth while Izuku's eyes were purple, but then they slowly turn red. As they did, we then return to Izuku as he opened his eyes and he takes in a big breath, with him then seeing Bakugo and Todoroki present. What the hell's wrong with you? Asked Bakugo. How long was I meditating for? He stood up with Todoroki then saying he had been, doing this for hours and night had fallen. If Bakugo hadn't made me, then we wouldn't have found you like this. Your eyes are a little strange. Hiding his eyes, Izuku then walks past him saying that it was nothing. Great word today. You didn't see, yells Bakugo. I saw enough, yells Izuku, as he would then poof to nothing. You think what I'm thinking? Asked Todoroki. That he has to teach us what he just did, says Bakugo. And Todoroki agrees that he should, but he says to be serious, like, come on. Yeah, he's a little bit overwhelmed. Can you blame him, said Bakugo. We then fade to black and go to Izuku as he enters his room and jumps onto his bed as he tries to calm down. God damn it, how long is this gonna last for, he thought. It's not my fault. It's not. It's not. The next day, as Izuku wakes up, he then walks to the common area to see Bakugo, Sero, Shoji, and Uraraka cooking. Midoriya says Shoji as he waved, and Izuku would then force a smile, but they can all see that he has heavy bags under his eyes and he just does not look well. He would then take a walk out as Bakugo would then say, see, I told you. Well, we'll have to try to cheer him up somehow, said Sero. Next thing we know, he might end up in a hospital. Also, his eyes, they just don't look good. I got an idea. Feel free to listen or not, said Bakugo, but it's perfect. After morning passed and everyone spent their time either training or just hanging out, if they wanted to, because they could. They had to, of course, let the adults know they were going to leave because, villains and all that stuff. But Izuku spent all this time in his room meditating, trying to bring back control into his tormented mind. And as night fell, he heard a knock and he said to open, and in then comes All Might as he would then see the tired boy and he would then ask, what are you doing to yourself? Trying to get stronger? What else? All Might would then take a seat and ask if he's still thinking about that day. And he would then nod as All Might would then say, we all talked about it and you need a break. You and who? Asked Izuku. Crowding the door then came the 1A class, the entirety of 1A, as Izuku was left surprised with Bakugo then saying, I can't beat you if you work yourself to death, Deku. And no one's gonna blame me for laying back a bit, Midoriya, Sakagure. Uncontrollably, Izuku then starts to cry as he tries to stop, but he finds it hard to, and he thanks them for caring so much, but they just let him get it out, as All Might then says, you've done enough, just by being here. And guess what? We found Ragdoll. Wait, what? Really? How? Don't worry about that, and I'm not saying it just to make you feel better. I'm not gonna lie to you, though. Her quirk was taken. Izuku however smiled, saying, that doesn't matter. That's what chakra's for, to give power to the powerless. Quirk or no quirk, I'm sure I can still help her be a hero. Good. Now take the rest of the week off. No training, okay? God knows you've shown enough, said All Might. Izuku then begins to laugh, and he said not to worry. Thanks, guys, seriously. Also, it's Izuku, Bakugo. Whatever, said Bakugo. With this, the little intervention comes to an end, and Izuku does as he's told. Not even clones. Like, he does not let anyone, like, talk to him. Well, they do, but, like, he just relaxes. And the kids heard of Izuku taking a break and understood because, like, the dude is just a kid. Let him take a little break. And this gave them a time to start using their own minds and their own ingenuity into working on their chakra. Shinzo soon visited, just to hang out, and, he supported him until time passed, and one day showed up at the Koba Stadium. Feeling new and renewed, Izuku walks with his class forward as they were all completely confident, but as they walked forward from behind, he then heard a scream, and this scream relieved Izuku wide-eyed. That voice, it can't be, he thought, as he and everyone then turned to see Inasa, who upon reaching them then bowed so hard that he hit his head to the floor. Oh my god, it's him, isn't it? asked Mineta. Yep, said Izuku. Inasa then raised his head, saying he was very psyched to meet them when he stood straight, and they weren't exactly put off by it, but they just weren't used to such an intense, positive personality. I also wanted to thank you, Midoriya, for what you did. I've been able to do much better, said Inasa. A fan, said Bakugo. Izuku then walked to Inasa, and they shook hands. Glad I could help, but could you also stop yelling for a bit? I apologize for that. Behind him then come the Shiketsu, class, and they would apologize for his rowdy behavior, and Nagasama would then, apologize for him just, doing crazy stuff, but even he has to admit that Izuku has been helpful in their growth. He's not going to be petty. Let's have a good match, he'd say. Izuku nods, and they leave while the other kids would also thank Izuku, from the Shiketsu, and he says no problem. And they then turn and start heading back when another voice is then heard. Are we gonna get to the test today, said Izuku, and he turned back as he then saw Miss Joke, and he actually became starstruck. Hey there, guys, she'd say. I wonder how amazing your Quirk would be with chakra. I'm sorry, it's just fun to speculate, said Izuku. Don't worry about it, the injection's already changing me. Hey, Eraserhead. She would then start to say the same things as before, which Aizawa is uneasy by because he doesn't want to marry her, blah blah blah. But after all that, she calls for her class, as Shindo would then come to Izuku and shake his hand. However, as he does, he instantly lets go, and he would be left shivering. Tsubame and everyone else then asked if he was okay, and Shindo then said, how come you didn't teach us about that? What the hell is he talking about? Asked Bakugo. Izuku with the smirk then said that making contact like that can cause their chakra to clash. I have too much chakra, so it kinda hurts you, sorry. Oh yeah, when I go Biju this time, you guys might want to brace yourselves. With these words, he then turned and started heading inside, while one followed, wondering what that meant, and the other class wondered about it too. Cut to 20 minutes later, and all the students would be gathered in a room, and they hail from Ketsubutsu, Seiai, Shiketsu, and Seijin, who Izuku did, of course, inject with chakra. If I forgot to mention them before, yeah, they got injected with chakra when Izuku went out with Nezu. They were specifically chosen to come here to somewhat equal the playing ground, because it would be unfair if some classes had chakra and others didn't. And as they check their costumes to make sure things are in order, Mera will then walk out to the podium as he faces the kids. Name is Mera from the Hero Public Safety Commission. My favorite type of sleep is non-REM sleep. Nice to meet you all. Oh, sorry if I sound so tired. We are short-staffed. Oh my god, I want to sleep. As he begins to moan and almost pass out, the kids are worried, wondering if this guy's okay, but Mera would then push through it and start to explain the test. Even with the introduction of chakra, things will be fairly the same, but those who can't keep up are doomed to fail. The first test will test you on speed, but only 100 of you will pass, said Mera. While the kids are a bit surprised by the stakes, they're ready to fight, as Mera will then begin to explain how you mark your targets and pass. And after this, the building is then split apart, as the walls then thud to the ground to show their fighting ground, which is consisted of a huge mountain range, a power plant, and a city, and some forests. Everyone is given 3 targets and 3 balls to fire, and slowly a countdown then began, as Izuku would then enter his Biju state. Instantly, everyone would feel a dominating presence bring them to their knees as they make way for Izuku to walk out. With chakra also comes the power to sense how strong your opponent is. Don't let it get to you, said Izuku. So this is what he meant. Holy crap, I'm shivering, said Kirishima. By gritting their teeth, those who were mentally strong enough brushed this off, and they split up to fight. Even their teachers would have to deal with this though, since they also have chakra now, and seeing the true power that Izuku holds in that form that they weren't able to sense before makes it hard to believe that he could be beaten by anyone. And the countdown then soon ends with 3, 2, 1. We then find Uraraka running off as she splits up from everyone, and she finds herself surrounded and attacked. Shinra Tensei. With a scream, she then blows back everyone and even hits 2 targets on one person by accident before then grabbing her own ball, and she taps the last target of the person she hit first. But the others get up, so she uses another almighty push before then running away. Izuku, meanwhile, is already setting himself up to pass as he would hide somewhere in the power plant while completely hiding his presence. Students begin to gather, unaware of him being present, when one by one they begin to be attacked, and some look back to see an orange blur move about until all those before them then fall, and Izuku then appears, covered in a cloak of reddish and yellow chakra. Sorry about this, but I need some points. As he dashes forward, everyone then hears Mera say that Izuku had gotten 200 points, completely wiping out everyone at the plant. Everyone from 1A would then begin to be announced as winners, with Siu then flooding her enemies while also using her camouflage to beat them all. So many new applicants are, what's it called? They all pass. I don't know why that was so hard to say. They pass before they gather. They do it quite fast with their new skills, and just after 10 minutes, there'd be like a bunch of people in the room. Yes, that was so much easier than I thought, say Hakure. But there's a big difference. I mean, they can do most things we can, but they barely applied it to their quirks at Momo. Yeah, it's still a bit unfair, Semineta. Izuku, however, says not to feel bad because the ones who don't pass will be given another chance. Everything's changing too fast. It's not surprising if some can't adjust. I vouch for it. What a good Samaritan you are, said Bakugo. We're heroes, dumbass. Why not? The two of them begin to stare each other down, and the others try to keep them away, and soon the room is filled with the same people. However, by this point, they had gotten used to Izuku's presence. Look to the monitor, please, said Mera, and his voice was directed to the TV in the room, and they see the battleground, but it is then bombarded and blown up by explosions, and is left completely ruined. Why the hell would you do that, they all thought. Round 2 will need you to save some citizens. Don't worry, they're professionals, so need you to feel worried, said Mera. Onto the scene come young men, women, and children, as well as old women and men who spray themselves with fake blood to make everything seem more believable, and the students are given time to eat some food, replenish their energy, while they talk and get to know each other, and Todoroki finds that Inasa doesn't like him very well, and for good reason, of course. But the building is then put apart with the scenario of the test being announced, and they are told to go help as Izuku then clasps his hands together and get everyone's attention. I need some of you to stay prepared to receive the injured. Divide yourselves up correctly. Deep forest submergence. From behind and below him, as well as the platform, release roots and trees that would grow to surround everyone, making an entire dome, leaving a door for everyone else to run out of. And quickly, some then get out and go to help civilians, and those who stay cannot believe how perfectly crafted the center is. As Momo walked around, however, she is told by Izuku to watch out. She would then step to the right, avoiding a rising treating table, I guess. And all around, these tables would prop up as many others would start to see stations being set up as well. Amazing, he did all of this with trees? What a release, it lets me grow plants and such. It's very basic, said Izuku. You think this is basic, they all thought. And from other schools, the same surprise is coming because they're surprised that this is his standard, quote unquote. However, this system does of course kind of work, and many are brought in safely, with the rescuees being baffled when they see the station and just how everything is prepared perfectly for them. 5 minutes pass, however, and from inside, everyone then hears an explosion. Izuku would turn and run to the wooden walls as they open up for him before them being closed up, and he would then be surprised not to see only Gang Orca and his men, but also Endeavor and All Might. Many gather to come help and are surprised, as well as especially Todoroki. Shoto, let's see how you've grown, yells the hero. I'm not here to play with you, he'd say. Rushing forward, however, All Might quickly attacks Izuku, who catches him, as the two would then struggle back and forth, forming a crater below them, while Endeavor attacks, as well as Gang Orca, with a hypersonic scream, which is then met by Jiro's own attack, which disorients his men and himself. And this is when, out of nowhere, a hand made of wind then blows him away, and Inasa would then come to land. How you like my new move, sir? Coughing up a bit of, blood, the hero would then say, not bad. So this is what chakra can do. All Might, meanwhile, is then sent flying up into the air and over the dome as he then turns with a smash and is about to attack when he's then met by a giant chakra arm from Izuku's QB form, and he's then hit and sent flying away. All Might crashes, leaving all those present shocked that they really get to see this fight so early and that Izuku was winning so effortlessly. Meanwhile, back to Todoroki, his father attacks with a wave of fire, but releasing his IC creates a shield that helps him move forward until he meets him face to face. He then clasps his hands together and his shield would shatter as he says, Demon Ice Mirrors. Using the same move he did at the festival, he creates mirrors that surround the hero this time, who is then bombarded from all sides by icicles, and he dodges them by jumping back, only to be pierced from behind by another mirror, and he then smirks. He would then hear the sound of flames. He then looks back to see Todoroki's giant flame dragon, but with the scream he releases a massive wave of flames that blows everything away and pushing back many, and they manage to hang on to the chakra though, because they're literally sticking to the ground. Hey bastard, take this. A massive explosion would then hit him across the face. We then see Bakugo throw a bunch of condensed spheres. Like, they literally fly to his opponents now, and they would explode on impact. I see Haden, the only one you gotta worry about, he'd say. Endeavor is sent crashing as he quickly gets up, only to be washed away by it to use, how do I describe this? No, I'm just gonna say it's a wave of, it's just a wave of water. This puts out the flames of the hero almost like quickly, and the hero as well as many adults are surprised that these guys are overpowering these heroes. Like they are teaming them up, like they're tag teaming them, whatever the hell. But like it's surprising they're beating them so fast. Actually, All Might's fight was already done by this point. He lost, and everyone saw it happen. And yet, the citizens were still saved. Nothing was hurt. The dome was not even like being able to be pierced by the men, the henchmen, all of that. And Mera had never felt so awake in his life as he then screams, "And that is the end. Good work to all of you." As he said this, All Might would then try to get up when he's then met by Izuku's hand, and he would then, of course, grab it, and he gets up. Izuku then asks, "Is the injury still good? Your father took care of that long ago. Don't worry about me. Even an old man like me can still fight, so word release, huh? Don't worry, my eyes are still fine. I'm getting used to it now. Mom wouldn't have wanted me to blame myself like this. Dad wouldn't either. Good. I'm gonna go somewhere after this." As they begin to walk forward, Izuku would then say, "Sure, there's this grill place I've been dying to check out." We will end this part off here. I hope you have enjoyed this wonderful third part of this awesome series, and tell me down below why you did and maybe why you didn't. Don't forget to like, because there's literally no other choice for you now, and subscribe, and I'll be back with a One Piece video on my second channel. Go and wait for me to post my new series, What If Deku Had the Soul Leveling System. Alright, peace out, I'm gone.